Okay. Sorry. Welcome. I am off to a fantastic start to our 300th episode of A Flawed Man's Take on the Bible. Not my 300th video. I surpassed that a while ago, but the 300th Bible reading that we have had on this show. And I think that is an amazing thing. 300 videos, 300 nights spent here. Some that you guys have popped in and out of. Some of you guys have been present for most of them. Some of you guys haven't. But I've enjoyed all the time that I have had with you guys. And I want to thank you for your attention. Thank you for your attendance. Thank you for the kind words. Thank you for the jokes. Thank you for everything. Even if you guys weren't here, I was going to do this anyway because I thought it was important. But nonetheless, y'all have made it that much more enjoyable. And it has made this project, this ministry, this discipleship, whatever you want to call it, something special, something very special to me. More so than, I mean, obviously it's special because I'm sharing the word. But it ain't a special experience because I'm sharing the word with interactions with other people. Some of you guys are deep believers. Some of you guys are on the fence. Some of you guys are just trying to make your own way through your faith. And that has been an awesome thing uh, to be a part of, to host. And I know we're not a huge crew, but we're a valuable one. And I wouldn't trade you guys out for anyone else. So, thank you. But yeah. Good evening, everybody. My name is Stuart Davis, a flawed man of God, former deacon, now humble parishioner at a small church just outside of Richmond, Virginia. Not a pastor, not a biblical scholar. I haven't been to seminary. I'm not here to get you to try to join my church or donate to any special cause. What I'm here to do is talk about God, talk about Jesus, talk about the Holy Spirit, talk about the Bible, talk about Christianity, talk about a wide variety of different issues, topics, and current events, and give you my perspective on them. One that I think is reflective of your average Christian guy. I've been a Christian all of my life, 41 years, non-denominational Protestant. I don't subscribe to any particular doctrine or denomination. I'm just in the Word daily, trying to do it better each and every day. Sometimes I'll get it right. Often I'll get it wrong. But no matter what, if you're listening to this live stream, if you're hearing my voice, you're going to be getting my honest takes on whatever it is that we're discussing. And so if you are somebody who is looking for answers about Christianity, you're not a Christian, but you're searching for purpose and meaning. You're looking for that missing piece. That has got you off balance. Maybe there's maybe there's a voice in the back of your mind wondering if there's more to this life than just your life here on earth. And I'll say there is, and I'll say that you are here, you are in the right. If you are looking for Christianity, you are seeking the right answer. And hopefully you find this show edifying enough to stick around. Because there's a lot on social media that makes people feel like it's an act. There's a lot of polished, overproduced, scripted takes out there from folks who are way sure in all the things that they believe in. And it doesn't seem authentic to you. Well, here, I'm sure about God, sure about the Trinity, I'm sure about the basics, but I try to come at everything else with a bit of humility. I'm a layperson. I'm not a professional. I get things wrong, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to talk about it. If that's what you're looking for, because you're worried about going to a church and listening to a pastor or a priest and say and because you think that they're only doing it because it's their job, that's their income, that's their livelihood. So it feels like a conflict of interest. It's not how it works, but I get from the outside looking in that that might be how you think. And you don't want to hear it from the pulpit, and you just want to hear it from the guy sitting in the pew next to you. I can tell you what it means to me, why it's important to me, what God has done for me, blessings, what obstacles I've had to overcome, what it means, what it can mean for you. I can give you my testimony. That's what you're looking for. Stick around. If you are already a Christian and you just enjoy Christian topics and discussions, welcome as well. We run this very similar to a Wednesday night study group or a Sunday school. It's about the small group atmosphere. Care about what you have to say. We care about you being here. We want you to be able to lay uh, your worries on the table, lay the things that you are happy about. A bit of pride there, not not um, the malicious pride, but just things that you're happy for. Share it with us. Be part of that group. You'll find this is very informal, relaxed, easygoing, and comfortable. Do this in do this in my man cave. I don't know where you guys are listening from, but no matter where you're listening, I encourage you to be in the chat. I don't care if you were never cracked a Bible before, never prayed before, but you're looking for something, and I don't care if you are more mature and well versed and knowledgeable in the faith than I am, or somewhere in between. Get in the chat, be part of it, be part of this group. We got a great group of folks who are in this chat night in and night out, and they make this show better. I was just talking about it at the beginning of the show. Thankful for everything. And how do you participate? Easy. Just put your thoughts out there. What do you agree with or disagree with? What am I doing right? What am I doing wrong? What unique insight or perspective do you have that you think you can share to add to the conversation? Give us your opinion. Ask questions. And I'm not saying I can answer your questions. We can talk about your questions. I don't know what your questions are. I don't know what your opinion. And with that said, at the end of this, if you enjoy it, like the episode. If you want more episodes, subscribe. If you want to be notified when we stream, which is around this time, 8:35 p.m. Eastern Time, Monday through Thursday, hit the notification bell. This is not here for money. This is here. I'm here. I'm not here to grift for money. I'm here to grift for souls. Let's get down to it. All right. How's everybody doing? We got a group here tonight. MR, Matt Felty, Steve Hawley, Serranos, Alias. Awesome. Glad you guys are here. MR, what up, Felty? Steve Said you're doing a great job reclaiming that rainbow, Stu. Don't make this. I'm not crying. You're crying. Serrano says, I really hate the hubbub on Twitter about banal garbage, like random whammon saying a word or a poll existing. It's all so tiresome. Arguing, and it's just something that's easy to draw me into because I have lots of opinions and the desire to share them. Arguing is tiresome. Oftentimes, I hate doing it, but oftentimes I find myself drawn to an argument like a moth to the flame. I know it's going to burn me up and consume me. And I'll feel bad about it at the end. Stu, what kind of beard coloring do you use? I have never used any type of hair coloring in my head, top or bottom, in my life. In my life. I don't even know if I've sprayed my hair as a kid, as a joke even. I don't think I even colored it then. Maybe for Halloween, but I don't remember it. Um, I have flecks of platinum blonde hairs in here, but it's mostly black, brown, and a little bit of red. So I got a joke. Thad is here. Thad, glad to have you here because while I was streaming last night, you were cracking jokes on Twitter. Don't think I didn't notice. Don't think I didn't notice. MR, I argue to a fault on X. Yes. Yes. And I know that most of us internet nerdnaeth, what is going on? I'm glad that you were here on the 300th episode. Such the unofficial ombudsman of the show. That's why he doesn't argue. He knows he's right. No, not gray, platinum blonde. Almost some might confuse it for white, but I know the truth. They're in there, there's a little flex in there. And the reason I can say that is because as a Ute, as a very young kid, I had platinum blonde hair. So it's just returning. This platinum blonde is returning as I get older too. I have a feeling, MR, that most of us who are creatures of the internet sometimes, which I am one, uh, this is a big point of growth or opportunity for growth that we have. Many of us argue on the internet. It's easy to do. It's tempting to do. My problem is I argue in real life just as much. So, MR said, I have used hair coloring and you have a few years on me. Lucky. Well, my dad is still not fully gray yet. He's 30 years older than I am. Got to go with the king heron? Long hair. Oh, got to go with the long hair. Yeah, I can't do long hair. Longest hair y'all will ever see me have in my life. The longest hair y'all will ever see me have was right before my daughter was born on stream. When that is about as long, and my wife was okay with it. She liked it to a degree because it curls in the back, and she liked that, and a couple of her friends like that. It's just I don't like the maintenance. Don't like the maintenance. The army showed me how easy high and tight is to maintain. So nice. You didn't know I was streaming? That sounds like that's a skill issue, Thad. Skill issue. But I need to win. Yes. Yex, Yex, echoing Nernath. Why would I argue with anyone? Always, I actually look and Yex and I followed. At least I follow. I paid attention to him on Twitter before he started watching the show. I don't know if I've ever really seen Yex in an argument on Twitter. Not one that was maybe more than one or two replies. So, and that's impressive, man. He's orthodox. Y'all are the stereotype is y'all argue all the time, but there are folks like Yex or Thaddeus out there who show us that it's not hashtag not all ortho bros. Mullet. No. Oh, if I would, yes. So, a buddy of mine, um, he's this was a couple of years ago for during the softball. This is during COVID. That's right. When everybody, because a lot of the hair places were closed, but he had somebody, so he grew his hair out long, and then had him shave the sides, but the American flag on both sides. Amazing. It was amazing. Yes, it is a tough job being infallible and perfect, but someone has to do it. That's why Jesus. That's why Jesus came here to show us the way. Here we go. People complain about Catholics, as have I, yet still, um, some folks coming up with ways to get around their silly rules are even more obnoxious. Not getting canceled on the 300th night. Nerneas said high and tight is the way to go. Bingo. You only let it go a little bit longer to blend in with the beard, nothing longer than a 5 guard. Mine is a and mine the 5 head. Mine when I get it cut is a 2.5 on top and a half on the sides. That's my high and tight with a nice fade. So, welcome everybody in sharing this 300th episode with me. Welcome. Glad you guys are spending this here, but not for me and not because it's the 300 episode, but because we're talking about scripture. We're in Proverbs. It is um such a great proverb last night with just the way that Solomon rolled it out. And if you guys weren't here, or if you guys are not familiar with Proverbs 10, or Proverbs 10 tonight, Proverbs 9, which we discussed last night, here's what went down. It was a discussion about wisdom, as Solomon does, personified it as a wise woman, righteous woman who has set this table, hosted this her space, and inviting everybody to come in, eat, drink, have fun, partake in wisdom, and get out from the exposure of foolishness and naivete. Be here, be knowledgeable. I give this away for free, sending invitations out for all who could understand, who would hear it. And then there's a break in the passages, kind of changes gears, and we'll get to that one in a second. And then after that, it talks about the foolish woman who is doing basically, or very in the foolish way, her own thing. She's not putting out anything to provide you with, but she's sitting down, looking down on others, and calling out to people to come and partake in her foolishness. Now, in the middle, separating those two descriptors is what is. Let me pull it up here. In between those two is this. The reverent fear of the Lord, worshiping him and regarding him as truly awesome, is the beginning and the preeminent part of wisdom, its starting point and its essence. And the knowledge of the Holy One is understanding and spiritual insight. As if to say, that's how you tell the difference. Angel on one shoulder, devil on the other. How do you tell the difference? Which one's giving you good advice? Which one's telling you to do the right thing? Which one is based? Which one is based in teachings of the Lord? And the essence of the Lord. And which one is not? Which one is shirking the law? Trying to find loopholes, trying to weasel your way in and out of things, or disregard them entirely. Which one is hedonistic? Which one is jealous? Which one is malicious? So there. I thought that was a great proverb. And now, I say oddly enough, it's the next proverb. Of course, it might tie in the contrast of the righteous and the wicked, which I thought he did a great job of doing last night. The Proverbs of Solomon. A wise son makes a father glad, but a foolish and stubborn son who refuses to learn is a grief to his mother. Oh, this is when we start to okay. Oh wow. We got a lot tonight. This is when we start seeing Proverbs, kind of a chapter of Proverbs with lots of little ones inside. So a wise son makes a father glad, but a foolish and stubborn son who refuses to learn is a grief to his mother. It begins. I say, ironic. So you could say wise son makes father glad, does stuff, kind of maybe follows in his father's footsteps, or maybe takes what his father has built and builds up on it. Solomon's a great example of this. Taking what David left him and building it into something a little bit something greater. Fortunately for Solomon, at his demise, it all falls apart. Doesn't fall apart completely, but the nation does fracture, which is not how David gave it to him. and it's not how Solomon leaves it. But when he gives it to Rehoboam, kind of because of how Rehoboam is and kind of how Solomon was, is the reason how Jeroboam was, is how it ended up. But a wise son makes a father glad. We see him doing the right thing, making us glad that we see that he is listening to us. But foolish and stubborn son who refuses to learn is a grief to his mother, probably because he's hanging around her a whole lot more, because he's not making the wise decisions. He's dependent. Moms worry. Moms are warriors. Dads are warriors too, but moms are more, I think, emotive in their worry, and it stresses them out more. Where sometimes got to get loud. They'll figure it out. They're gonna bump their heads. They're gonna fall on their butts or whatever. A mom is just, wringing her hands and just very stressed out about it. When they can't figure it out, it's grief to his mother. Don't be a grief to your mom. Be a source of happiness to your father. Treasures of wickedness and ill-gotten gains do not profit, but righteousness and moral integrity in daily life rescues from death. Well, yeah. So if we look at this for a give the long view on this. Treasures of wickedness and ill-gotten gains do not profit. Easy way to look at this, or an easy example to use: drug money, right? There's a lot of money in drugs, but how dangerous is that? And how many lives does it ruin? Not just the people you end up selling to, not just the people who are the end user, but the people involved, the mules, the dealers, the growers, distributors, smugglers, all of them. It's not it's not a fun lifestyle. I mean, I guess if you like being wild and living on risks, very few of these folks grow old. Very few of them don't have deep scars because of it, unless you're a sociopath. I mean, in which case I got, maybe this isn't this maybe Proverbs isn't for you. Righteousness and moral integrity in daily life rescues from death. Be safe with them fireworks, MR, and have a good evening. Righteousness and moral integrity in daily life rescues from death. Well, yeah, it's a lot of good decisions throughout. It's the little things that add up, right? Good decision here, good decision there. It's money in the bank. Money in the bank. It doesn't feel like it's like working out. It's like practicing an instrument. Do the work, do a little bit here, a little bit here. You might not notice it, but in the long run, it pays off. Pays off. And rescuing from death, not just a physical death, spiritual death. How much do you think that that daily practice goes towards uh, your salvation? And not saying that in a works-based way, but just keeping you connected to God, keeping you on the path as best as possible. If going back to earlier, because your dad is just disappointed. Mom gets sad, different reactions, just as crushing. With serial crusher here. Any of you folks who are folks fans of the Boondock Saints. Here we go. The Lord will not allow the righteous to hunger. God will meet all his needs, but he will reject and cast away the craving of the wicked. Sounds a little bit this sounds a little prosperity based. So you got to take a little bit closer look on what is genuine hunger to God. What is genuine doing without. This is kind of has foreshadowings of the Beatitudes. The bless those who hunger and thirst, so they will be satisfied. Same here. He hath filled the hungry with good things, not necessarily earthly food. Manna from heaven, not just that. Renee said, I think that's more of the God will give you what you need, but people who ask for selfish things they don't need will not get it. Maybe that'll drive them to drive them either to humility or treasuring wickedness and ill-gotten gains. That's a good perspective. I like this, guys. I like some of these ideas and takes. You could understand those hungry as devout fasters. The serial crusher guy, the giant guy. But the righteous and moral integrity and wait, he will reject and cast away the craving of the wicked. And maybe this goes a little bit further. He's not talking about the wicked, casting away the wicked, the craving of the wicked. He provides people opportunities to kick that habit, to get away from it, to get it out of your life and keep it out of your life. You can listen or you can ignore it. It doesn't mean you haven't been given the opportunity. Poor is he who works with a negligent and idle hand, but the hand of the diligent makes him rich. Reap what you sow. Great. Just a really cut and dry one here. If you're if you're measuring once and cutting twice, you're not getting it done. You're not perfecting your craft. But those who are grinding it out, we talk about when Emmanuel Osorio is here, when he's on the road, putting those hours in, eating up them miles, driving safe, hopefully, driving safe. Hand of the diligent makes him rich. Rich sometimes in financially, sometimes in reputation. People might find, people will find you honorable for being diligent and being honest in your craft, with hardworking and delivering on what you promise. That's a big thing for me when I look at vendors, when I look at people that I network with professionally. What's the character? A lot of what I do, there's a there's a uh, there's a degree of trust, and the more trust I have, uh, the further the further our business grows. Carl, you know and love. What's going on, sir? Glad to have you here. He who gathers during summer and takes advantage of his opportunities is a son who acts wisely. But he who sleeps during harvest and ignores the moment of opportunity is a son who acts shamefully. Very much a rehashing of what we just talked about. Instead of negligent, we're talking about procrastination, lazy. Of course, you can also wrap that up with the idle hand. Gathers during the summer, takes advantage of his opportunities, acting wisely. Put that work in. Be responsible. This isn't about saying, "Oh, I just need to pray and God will take care of all of my worries." God gave you a brain and he gave you um the ability to do things. Provide for yourself and provide for others. If you're not doing that, do you really have faith in God, or are you just mooching off of him? I mean, we all mooch. That's not what I'm saying, but contributing nothing. Not putting any effort in. He who sleeps during harvest and ignores the moment of opportunity is a son who acts shamefully. It's a great what great parable from Jesus. Men with talents as in coins, currency. Not as in like they have a talent like I can, I don't know, juggle. That's a very, but I'm not giving any spoilers, but this is just examples of that. Blessings are on the head of the righteous, the upright, those in right standing with God, but the mouth of the wicked conceals violence. This one might seem a little confusing because it doesn't feel like you don't feel like they tie much in other than you have a righteous side and you have a wicked side. But we're talking about blessings for the righteous and violence for the wicked. Okay, we'll just break that down a little bit. First, there's probably some idiom there. There's probably some cultural nuance that we're not picking up on this. Um, Not even the Amplified is clearing that up. But what are we talking about? Blessings on the head of the righteousness. I'm sorry, the blessings on the head of the righteous, those in right standing with God. There are blessings to be had. What happens as a result? What do you sow with wickedness? Violence. What do you need to look out for? Mouth of the wicked conceals violence. They have it in their heart. There's deceit there. Who do you trust? The righteous? Blessings. Who do you want to hitch your wagon to? Who do you want to be associated with? Who do you want to congregate with? The righteous, who are blessed, or the wicked, who have ill intentions on their mind? There's a couple ways to take that, at least from me. We've got a long way to go. We're only at 7. We got 32. Nurneus says, I take it to mean that the righteous do all right. The lazy wicked are envious of those who worked hard and want to steal it. Good one. Proverbs has, in the past, when I've done small group and Sunday school, my favorite thing for us to discuss as a group has been Proverbs because of this. Wait, did I skip one? Yeah, we're going all the way to 32. We still got a little ways to go. We got 21, 25, 26 more to go. The memory of the righteous person is a source of blessing, but the name of the wicked will be forgotten and rot like a corpse. There you go. What legacy are you leaving behind in how you behave, how you treat others? A righteous person, a person who leaves a positive impression of people, a person that people would like to emulate. That stuff sticks. Folks who are mean, spirited, evil, wicked. Yeah, maybe you might remember them in passing, but for the most part, you don't keep them close to the heart. You don't want your kids to grow up to be like them. You might, if you're remembered, it might be just as a warning. Don't be like that person. They were wicked, and people didn't want to be around them. The wise in heart are willing to learn, so they will accept and obey commands and instruction. But the babbling fool who is arrogant and thinks himself wise will come to ruin. Where do you guys find yourselves in that breakdown? Are y'all the wise in heart? Are y'all willing to learn? Are y'all accept and obey commands and instructions? Or are you the babbling fool who is arrogant and thinks himself wise and setting yourself up for failure? I'm a little column A, a little column B. Need to be more column A, less column B. I try to. I was definitely more on the babbling fool when I was younger. But the effort I take into being willing to learn, has grown. That is something that I'm trying to this is something that I'm invested in teaching my kids to do, or teaching my kids to be wise in heart, willing to learn, accept and obey instruction. Always understand that you don't know everything. He who walks in integrity and with moral character walks securely, but he who takes a crooked way will be discovered and punished. Kind of like the sleep of the just, right? If you don't heal, um, you don't have anything um, worrying you or bothering you. If you have no reason to distrust others because you're being deceitful, sleep a little. You walk a little bit more upright. You sleep a little bit easier at night. He who walks in integrity and with moral character walks securely. You're not constantly questioning yourself. But he who takes a crooked way will be discovered and punished. So you're constantly on the run, constantly hiding in the shadows, worried about being discovered. But you will be discovered and punished because it says so right here. Eventually, you never get away with it forever. May not be here in this life. Nico says, I feel I used to be more open and willing to learn, but now I feel more confident in my ways and less willing. Or do you think it's less willing to learn, or do you think less willing to compromise on things that you have learned and you know to be true? The difference between being open to learn and compromising principles that you hold close, and understanding where those principles come from, right? Are those your own personal principles, or those principles that you got from God? What? That's just because you're more confident in what you know doesn't mean you're less open to learning. Don't confuse it with conceit, but maybe you are conceited. I don't get that from you, Nico. What I've seen from you mostly has been open and honest questioning on or and reacting to whatever it is we're discussing. Matt Felty, I've become more conscious of my language, avoiding statements of certainty. Like there are things that we should be certain of, but we need to understand that there should be less things that we are certain of and more things that we are not certain of. But I think that's a good take. I don't like most of the time, unless we're talking about something I'm dead set on, painting myself into a corner of certainty. No such thing as a sure thing is something I live by a lot outside of my faith in God, and even somewhat within my faith. There's no such, and it's not a sure thing that I'm right on, you know, topics X, Y, or Z. Yeah. See, that is a difference between that. I don't think that that's what it's correcting you out here. Nerneas says, don't worry, Nico. There are problems that come up that you are not prepared for no matter what, no matter how much you think you know. And I know that you're a young gentleman, Nico, and you still got a lot of life to be thrown at you. Does come at you fast sometimes. But like I said, that's a good attitude to have. He who maliciously winks the eye of evil intent causes trouble, and the babbling fool who is arrogant and thinks himself wise will come to ruin. This one didn't offer any other side of things. Just serious. You maliciously have evil intent to cause trouble. That's what you're going to do. That's what you need to be aware of. When you recognize that in someone else, you need to recognize it in your own. If you recognize it in yourself, you need to correct it. The babbling fool who is arrogant and thinks himself wise will come to ruin because, hey, eventually that catches up with you. Eventually, maybe you've lucked out. Maybe circumstances have been in your favor, just because that's the way the chips are falling. It's not always going to be that way. You set yourself up. Sometimes that mountain of errors gets pretty big before it all comes crashing down on you. Hits you like a ton of bricks. Steve said, I'm always open to learning something from anyone. I know what I know from experience in life and researching on topics. I like to ask people questions. It's one of the reasons why I like having people on my show, and not just and having you guys in the chat talk to you, ask you questions, listen to you, genuinely listen to people, genuinely listen, genuinely pay attention to what is going on around you. The mouth of the righteous is a fountain of life, and his words of wisdom are a source of blessing. But the mouth of the wicked conceals violence and evil. I think we can go back to what Nernaeus said. The lazy wicked are envious of those who worked hard and want to steal it. Same thing here. The mouth of the righteous is a fountain of life, and in words of wisdom are a source of blessing. Listen, take from that. Learn from that. We talk about being open to learn. These are folks who will set you up for success. The mouth of the wicked conceals violence and evil. They are setting you up for failure, generally at their own for their own gain, to satisfy their own jealousies and covetousness. Covet. Never mind. Jealousy, and how they covet things. Covetousness. Shoot, I can't remember. Um, hatred, hatred stirs up strife, but love covers and overwhelms all transgressions, forgiving and overlooking another's faults. Amen. There is no chus in covetousness. Hatred stirs up strife. Love covers and overwhelms all transgressions. How do we know this? Jesus on the cross overwhelms all transgressions, forgiving and overlooking everybody's faults. What does hatred do? Stirs up strife, causes trouble, discord. On the lips of the covetous covetousness. It's an awkward word. On the lips of the discerning, not the lips of those trying to say covetousness. On the lips of the discerning, skillful and godly wisdom is found, but discipline and the rod are for the back of the one who is without common sense and understanding. Another one, life comes at you fast. Lips of the discerning, skillful and godly wisdom is found. You can hear it in their voice. You can take what they say to the bank. Discipline and the rod are for the back of the one who is without common sense and understanding. Stupid decisions hurt sometimes. A lot of times they hurt you. Sometimes they hurt other people. But a lot of times they hurt you. Physical pain, too. Discipline in the rod. And there's consequences. Sometimes there are punitive consequences to that with the law, with society, or whatever. Wise men store up. Much of us, we want to learn more things. Wise men store up and treasure knowledge in mind and heart, but with the mouth of the foolish, ruin is at hand. I think of this more as what not foolish insights are or foolish words are to uh, a treasury of knowledge. Ruin. If you listen to even the foolish and take what they say as wisdom, it will ruin what you have collected. The rich man's wealth is his fortress. The ruin of the poor is their poverty. I don't know how to read that one because we're not a materialistic faith. Rich man's wealth is his fortress. This is what protect man. This is me trying to figure it out. Rich man's wealth is his fortress. His money is his power. His money is his shelter. Uh, but it's not based on God necessarily. All right, well, maybe I can come in through the camera. I'm not going to sound as good. How do I? Can y'all hear me though? Yeah, I switched it from. No. Yeah, it's coming in through the webcam now, my camera. All right, what was the last thing y'all heard me talk about? That's not terrible, but it ain't great either. I'll have to look into that at the end of the stream. Oh, the rich men north of Richmond. Um, rich man's wealth is his fortune. The ruin of the poor is their poverty. So the rich man. So I was talking at first. Rich men, your wealth can be protection, a shield to you. Poor people don't have that. Poor people that offers more temptations in some aspects. But the same thing happens with money. That doesn't necessarily mean you're free of temptations. We can look at that. David's a perfect example of that. He was tempted, and he was the most powerful man in all of Jerusalem. Now, what I'm thinking of now is rich man's wealth is his fortune. What are you rich in? Not necessarily rich in material things. What if you're rich in wisdom? What if you're rich in faith? What if you're rich in discernment? That is a fortress for you. It can protect you. But if you are poor in these things, it will ruin you. Maybe it is cultural, Renee. You're closer to it at times, but like I said, if you're rich in the things that God thinks it's important, that does protect you. If you are poor in those things, you are vulnerable. The wages of the righteous, the upright, those in right standing with God, is a worthwhile, meaningful life. The income sounds good anyway. The income of the wicked, punishment. Well, maybe this is our answer right here. The wages of the righteous, the upright, and those standing with God, is a worthwhile and meaningful life. Wages, we were just talking about wealth, right? The income of the wicked, punishment. Well, if you're wicked, you have to worry about, when it's time to pay the piper. He who learns from instruction and correction is on the right path of life, and for others, his example is a path towards wisdom and blessing. But he who ignores and refuses correction goes off course, and for others, his example is a path towards sin and ruin. But yeah, right? Not just listen to somebody is teaching you something, but also when they're correcting you on something. And you become an example to others. But if you listen to what they say, but kind of say, oh, no, I got this figured out, and they try to help you out with genuine correction from the wise, and you refuse to listen to it, oh, well, don't be the Titanic. Don't be the disaster that everybody's trying to learn their lesson from. He who hides hatred has lying lips, and he who spreads slander is a fool.
No money, no problems. um, yeah. Hide your hatred. That might require you to lie about it, especially if if you're using that hatred to wield against somebody else. He who spreads slander is a fool. False witness, don't bear false witness. Don't do it when you know, especially don't do it when you know that you don't know what you're talking about. When there are many words, transgression and offense are unavoidable. But he who controls his lips and keeps thoughtful silence is wise. Well, I talk too much. Silent waters run deep, right? Quiet waters run deep. It's one of those things you hear. Maybe we can all take something away from this. Look, chat, that's not me trying to say don't chat as much. I want you guys in the chat. When there are many words, transgression and offense are unavoidable. Yeah, you keep talking, you keep running your mouth, you say whatever comes to your mind, which I have a terrible habit of doing. Eventually, you're going to run afoul of somebody, justified or unjustified. But that can get you in trouble, justified or unjustified. But if you control your lips and keep thoughtful silence, you're wise. Yeah. Stick to talking when you have something worth saying. And do it in a way that is going to lift everybody up. The tongue of the righteous is like precious silver, greatly valued. The heart of the wicked is worth little. Well, we just talking about why the tongue of the righteous would be precious like silver. I mean, that just like some of the stuff feels like no brainers. Heart of the wicked is worth little. It's not going to get you very far. We could say that we can tie that in with a kind of up here with the treasures of wickedness and ill-gotten gains do not profit. The lips of the righteous feed and guide many, but fools who reject God and his wisdom die for lack of understanding. Nico says, seems like it's indirectly saying you're going to be offended by someone else too, but be tolerant. Yeah. You can take it. That's a good put yourself in the other side of the shoe. Be the, if you're being offended, is it because this person's just running his mouth too much? Matt said, yep, I've also become comfortable with silence and conversation for processing thoughts. My wife's a processor, just to process through things. She's somebody who needs to absorb the information, have time to digest it, process it, and then come back with her thoughts on it. The lips of the righteous feed and guide many, but fools who reject God and his wisdom die for lack of understanding. Look, wages of sinner's death. Reject God and his wisdom, die. And we're not, and again, spiritual death. Lips of the righteous feed and guide many. People can follow behind you as you're an example. Like a food processor. There have been folks, there have been men with the great ability to communicate righteous and godly wisdom, bring people to Christ. And if you have that talent, you can make a huge difference for somebody, for many people, many bodies. And that, I think, is right up there with obedience, because it's something that God has commanded us to do. You might have a spiritual gift for it, preaching, leading, inspiring. Use it in the right way, and you're bringing people to God. The blessing of the Lord brings true riches, and he adds no sorrow to it, for it comes as a blessing from God. Sometimes God blesses you and there is no, he goes, what's the catch? What are the strings that are attached to it? No strings. No strings. This is just a straight up blessing. Sometimes doing the right thing pays. Engaging in evil is like sport to the fool who refuses wisdom and chases sin. But to a man of understanding, skillful and godly wisdom brings joy. What do you get a kick out of? Being evil? Is that how you like to spend your free time? Or do you like to understand, learn, and know things? How to be a better person? Where was I? What the wicked fears will come upon him, but the desire of the righteous for the blessings of God will be granted. Nernayeth said, I think it's a warning that if you have to compromise morals to get something good, it isn't from God. Nice. It is. And that's a great warning. Do I have to do the wrong thing to do what God wants? That's probably not what you should be doing. Let's see what we said. Oh, wicked fears will come upon him, but the desire, I got to make sure I lean forward. I can't lean back because my thing is broken. Check this thing out again. Hang on. I'll do that later. Sorry, guys. The wicked, your fears are going to come true. The righteous, your desires, you will be blessed with it. Maybe not here, but eventually. When the whirlwind passes, the wicked is no more, but the righteous has an everlasting foundation. The man who built his house upon the rock and the man who built his house upon the sand. When disaster strikes, when the worst happens, when Satan comes upon you like he did on Job, do you have a firm foundation? Or do you have nothing to hang on to? I like that. your faith can sometimes get you through great strife. I shouldn't say sometimes. Your faith will get you through times of great strife. But if you don't have faith, where does that take you? It makes you vulnerable to be washed away and lost. Like vinegar to the teeth and smoke to the eyes, so is the lazy one to those who send him to work. Don't be a burden. Don't be that guy. Like this is biblically saying, don't be that guy. Don't be the guy that nobody can depend on. Don't be the guy that everybody knows you're not going to get it done, or it's not going to be done well. It's going to be half-assed. Don't be that guy. Everybody's going to hate it, especially those who are responsible for you or responsible for the job getting done. I guess, do we have to send him? Because we know if we do, it's not. We know we're gonna end up. It's gonna end up being more work than it's worth. The reverent fear of the Lord, worshiping, obeying, serving, and trusting him with awe-inspired. I'm sorry. Let me start back. The reverent fear of the Lord, worshiping, obeying, serving, and trusting him with all respect prolongs one's life, but the years of the wicked will be shortened. Not exactly only the good die young, but in general, everlasting life is a long time. Death is not. You set yourself up for success with a reverent fear of the Lord. If you're doing wicked, you do evil things, in all likelihood, it's not going to be good for you in the long run. The hope of the righteous, those of honorable character and integrity, is joy. But the expectation of the wicked, those who oppose God and ignore his wisdom, comes to nothing. Your hope is happiness. Your hope that what you're doing, your obedience, your love, and all that stuff comes to great joy. You want joy out of it. You want to take joy from doing the right thing. But if you are evil, if you live in that evil mindset, you'll never be happy. The way of the Lord is a stronghold to the upright, but it is a ruin to those who do evil. Like I said, I like this. I compare this to that one about the wealth of a rich man's wealth is his fortress. Ruin is the peril of the poor. The way of the Lord is a stronghold to the upright. Or you can go, when the whirlwind passes, the wicked is no more, but the righteous has an everlasting foundation. It is shelter. It is a haven for us in good times and bad. But if you don't have that, it's kind of throwing you to the wolves there. The consistently righteous will never be shaken, but the wicked will not inhabit the earth. Going back to Beatitudes, or going forward to Beatitudes, if we're thinking of it that way. There is no inheritance for the wicked, except for hell, destruction, darkness, unquenchable thirst. The mouth of the righteous flows with skillful and godly wisdom, but the perverted tongue will be cut out. Now, this is just a warning for y'all and myself, for warning for us. Mouth of the righteous flows with skillful and godly wisdom, tongue that perverts that, and there are plenty of them out there who pervert the word of God. Pervert the word of God. And their tongues will be cut out. The lips of the righteous know and speak what is acceptable, but the mouth of the wicked knows and speaks what is perverted. And that's how you line it up. That's how you line it up, folks. All right. Well, I've got some work to do. I've got some work to do on my mic, but that goes for the kingdom of today as well. Oh yeah, definitely. As I was saying, these two right here, especially true. There's all sorts of weirdness out there. All sorts of weirdness out there. Some of y'all know what I'm talking about. Hopefully it's some of you guys. Hopefully some of y'all are also spared the craziness that's out there in the world. Weird stuff. There we go. Matt Felty, Nernath, Nico, Carl we know and love, Steve. Steve and I are going to be hanging out soon. Yex. I said Nernath already. MR. I know he's out there fighting. Hopefully he gets all of his fingers back. Serranos. I thought I saw Alias in here somewhere. There he is. Alias waving. Thank you guys. Thank you guys for being here. Probably not, just because I don't have the setup for it, Steve. But it might be something where we do like a short or something. I don't even have a mic for myself anymore. I got this thing. I'm so mad. This is such a comfortable thing. Look, y'all understand. I wear this for an hour or more at a time, nights, and it is comfortable. It's nice sometimes to take it off, but it's comfortable. It's way more comfortable than the other stuff I've had. Sad. I hope I can fix it. Pray for the Epos Sennheiser. Anyway, thanks you guys for being part of this. Thank you guys for sharing on episode 300. This is Flawed Man of God. But yeah, thank you for everything y'all said. Thank you for paying attention and telling me when you can't hear me. That's not always a great thing. But yeah, you guys are a big part of this 300 episode, just the success behind it, the fact that you guys have come here, and I'm not gonna beat that horse to death, but thank you. It does mean a lot, and I learn a lot from you guys. For everybody who is not part of the chat and listening, thank you for your views. Thank you for the likes. Thank you for the subs. Thank you for listening. I'm just glad that it's something worth listening to. And for everybody catching this on replay, sorry I missed you. I hope to catch you live sometime soon. We'll be here tomorrow, mic or no. You guys have a good night, and God bless.